sad, isn't it? You know, this to me has been the ultimate look for Batman. Um, the body, the figure, the stance, uh, just everything about it to me just capsulates what I visioned for Batman. You know, and the actor Ben Affleck put a lot of effort into it, and he was a big Batman fan, huge Batman fan, and he took the costume back to his kids, and he dressed it up. He's got his own Batcave, and yeah, and he proved all the, well, I like to think anyway, he proved all the people that were against him being Batman, proved them all wrong, and for a lot of people, he became, the best Batman. And then what happened? Well, what happened was that Warner Brothers got greedy, and they wanted to change a film of Zack Snyder's from BVS to Justice League, and this man here came on to Zack Snyder's vision. I mean, he didn't want to do it, thought he was too old, didn't he? He thought he was too old for the part, and then Zack convinced this Oscar-winning actor, director, whatnot, that no, this is how I want to portray Batman. And Ben Affleck was on board. He signed it, and he wanted to do it. It was, and he was going to give up his time and do these films that Zack Snyder planned, and then Warner Brothers gets involved, starts hacking Zack's film, which then doesn't show Ben Affleck's story to its fullest until the Ultimate Edition. He's also gone through a divorce, and I've never went through one, but by what I've read and everything else, divorces is not pleasant. It's heartbreaking, it's stressful, and everything else, and who's to blame. And so he's going through that. But the studios, they didn't care, because if the studios can throw out a director whose daughter has committed suicide, who has gone through his own trauma, and still feel like they want to control something of the directors, then for somebody like Ben Affleck, who's given his time up to do these films, who shared the vision, who's going through a divorce, that has an addiction problem to alcohol and everything else, has really hit some of the lowest points in his life. Warner Brothers, it comes to the stage when he wants to write the Batman film. He loves being Batman, and he wants to write this Batman, which Jay Olivia has read, and had said publicly said that it was the best Batman script he has read in years, and it would have been a great Batman movie. But then a good friend of Ben Affleck, somebody that really cares, came over to Ben and says, "Do you really want this? Do you want to go?" Because just like Zack, he wanted to do things for his fans, and he wanted to really emphasise the character that Zack had laid out, which Justice League totally destroyed. but he wanted to prove, this is the Batman that he's always wanted to do. This is the Batman that he shares the vision of Zack Snyder's, and he's probably wanting to do a Batman film set years before the Justice League. And a friend came up, do you really want to do this? After all the reshoots and destroying the film of the Justice League, the one that you and Zach cried out for, do you want to do this? This could actually finish you off. If you were to make this Batman movie, do you not think Warner Brothers would give you the same treatment they did with Zach? Do you really need this at your time? And of course, Ben Affleck, probably through a lot of regret, because he did film, he was excited for the fans and he filmed bits with Deathstroke. And he said, maybe you're right, because I don't want to go through this. And because people were asking him, how's the Batman film coming on? How's the Batman film on? And already the pressure to do this and everything else, and the media saying, oh, Ben Affleck can't be director and star in his own film. He can't. Who says that? And all that stuff is going on. And Ben Affleck says, I don't need this in my life. I remember watching movies, and when you have A-list stars or something like that, they get protected. They get protected by the studios. They're catered for, making sure that they're okay. What happened to those days? When I look at the Hollywoodland murders and stuff like that, and when he played the young George Reeves, Ben Affleck played George Reeves, and the films at the time, there were a lot of people claiming that the actors were taken care of, the police were sidestepped, or whatnot, because the actors came first. Directors were big people that also had control, and but no, not anymore. It's like the union of the 70s are not the work unions that we have today. There's no protection over nothing. And watching a film recent, Hollywood Insider, I'll leave a link at the end of the video, and you have Toby Emmerich sitting there while they're getting discussed about the Marvel success, and they finally gets on to the Joker, and he's saying, yeah, no, we loved the film, we read it, and we had everything. And the thing is, with Warner Brothers, we didn't want to do this thing that Marvel was doing. We wanted to do, we more or less are into standalone movies. No, you were forced into saying stuff like that because you did attempt that, but you ruined it by destroying people with vision. Zack Snyder with vision. You had a great cast of Henry Cavill, Ben Affleck, Ray Fisher, Ezra Miller, whose film, the Justice League, was just totally destroyed. The character, Ray Fisher's future in the film industry is probably ruined because you didn't leave alone. And I sat there and I listened to them talk about the media service and how that could be a good way where films that we don't really have all that confidence, films that years ago used to just make straight to DVD or straight to video. That is what the media service is for, and it's a gamble. All these films we didn't take a chance on, and really, and then he goes in 300. Zack Snyder made 300 in this video, and he's talking to Toby Emmerich, and he's like, Zack Snyder moved to Netflix. I'm sorry, I'm a wee bit drowsy. I'm really need my sleep. But I just felt I had to make this video because this guy deserves it, and Zack Snyder deserves it. People involved deserve some recognition, and I am just. I mean, I predicted something like that happened. The reason why when Ben Affleck left was because of the treatment of Zack Snyder. That's what I initially thought. But now I know it wasn't just Zack Snyder. It was the treatment of himself as he was going through bad times, as Zack was going through bad times. But they still pushed these films, and the fear set in that the fact that Warner Brothers would still carry on mishandling their directors and their cast and crew. They should be left alone. Studios should back off from movies. And it's only recently said that one woman came out and said, we have to make risks. We have to make some failures. The interesting point about the video was when talked about the box office and predictions, and how they don't like to predict the numbers because everybody's jumping on board. If it doesn't make the prediction, then it's a failure. But they really don't know how much the film's going to make. They can make some great films in their book and it doesn't sell well. And BVS did great, but you were too busy thinking it had to make a certain amount of money. But you weren't willing to stand and look at the bigger picture. You weren't able to give these guys, a break and let them get on. We talk about people just now with depression, celebrities committing suicide. There was a girl recently on British Celeb that's committed suicide because of media focus. And now we have these people, and we have to remember actors and directors are people themselves. They have just normal lives just like us, and they go through what we go through. And in our workplace, there are people actually for mental health people that you go to in your work. And I've got to ask myself, what did Warner Brothers do? They didn't care about the person's work. They don't want to say we're wrong. No, they didn't care about what the actor was going through, the director was going through, the love and passion that goes into making these movies, the people involved making these films. No, you just step in and believe yourself that you know better. So Ben Affleck, as well as Zack and whatnot, I am totally, gobsmacked for you. There'll be other Batmans to come, no doubt. Robert Pattinson's or whatever his name is from Twilight. He's just no match for you and the potential of the movies that you could have made. All we can do now, and I can understand now why you would want release the Snyder Cut, because at least that way you and Zack actually win a wee bit of dignity back. So please, hashtag Ben Affleck, hashtag Zack Snyder, hashtag those people that were wronged for the DCEU. Thanks very much. This is DC Vigilante. This has been Mattress.